The more I build in this Dutch town, the harder it gets. Jeez. That is not how that is not how you spell Detroit.
Hey, Vicky.
Fairly light crowd, but we do have 11 things on the agenda today, so might as well jump in, and hopefully additional staff members will join us. So, yeah, this is the July 2022 infrastructure staff meeting. We've got, as I just said, a bunch of stuff on the agenda, a lot of roads, a lot of inactive stuff that people are looking at this time around. So, starting off 6A with the B682 from Hanzan to Stevenstown and Frostgrave by It's Not Jasper.
I'm kind of wondering how big are those two towns, Steventown and the other one that it's going to exactly?
Ones that are on the little islands?
Yeah.
I haven't been there. So let me pop in game and then we'll find out.
Oops.
I mean, it is a B road, so it, as long as they're reasonably established, then it's not really a huge concern to me. Oh, let me get in game here. While we're dealing with this about the possible town sizes, any other thoughts from anybody else?
Seems reasonable.
Which is north of D61.
Yeah, I'm headed there now, I think.
Yeah, I'm at the MRT station. Which, is this one of the ones that doesn't have any exits? No, it does have an exit. So then you go north.
Yeah, TP to me, Chief, or anyone else.
There.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see, how these get, what they're gonna do with these, because I would imagine that both of these islands would eventually turn into one town. But if they got a plan for both islands, it seems like they are serious about developing them. So in that case, I'm happy to approve.
This seems perfectly fine. Not gonna lie.
Okay. Any other comments?
Hearing none, that is going to be approved. I already got that up. Great. Okay, next up is B65 Northern Extension from Savannah to Cactusburg. This includes an inactive bypass on Savannah.
Okay, please forgive me. I just remembered that Yellow Witcher did DM me an answer to my question, to a question that I asked, and I completely forgot to put it on the agenda. Let's see.
Now. What do you got?
there is the picture of where the road is going to end in Cactusburg.
Oh. This looks fine to me.
Yeah, Jay Planner's experienced with creating roads.
Cool. Unless there are any objections, we'll call this good. Hearing none, approved. And then this is also being B65 is getting it big into the other direction. Down from Sandsvik to Glacierton.
Yeah, I was like, when I was processing these emails, I had to do a double take because I was wondering what the heck is going on. Then I realized that there were two separate proposals to extend it on each end.
Yeah.
At least it's better than
So
from two pros on one on the same end. That would be really weird.
or if one proposal is to extend it further north off of the end of the if it's an end on end thing and only half of it gets approved.
This is pretty straightforward. I don't.
And it is literally a straight line, so yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's a lot of hills and stuff, so it's fine for it to be a straight line. And
Yeah.
All right, that's approved.
Right.
All right, where are we on the ISN?
We just finished 6C.
Welcome back, Vicky.
Yep.
What is
6C.
the-
Hi.
Next up is 6D.
This is across from like
I think before we get to this one, we do have to comment. This map is awful.
it really.
It's not good.
Well, I forced him to redraw the map, and it was even worse the first time, but
I'm just gonna put it on record. If Steven's gonna make any future proposals, the quality needs to be a lot better than this because it is.
Recommendation: buy an Apple Pencil.
Or how about follow the damn instructions where we say don't hand draw words. Like if you need to write stuff on the map, type it, don't draw it.
This is literally like if someone gave you a proposal on a napkin and they drew it just a few minutes ago. Like that's just how it feels.
Great. Now you're just inviting people to
Okay,
like literally
yeah,
make
we
GSM
don't-
proposals on napkins.
oh, okay.
No, we will reject those.
So with the proposal itself,
Yep.
Simon Scholar had a comment on the Google Doc. Simon says basically not a big fan of how this could segregate the MRT stations for potential short access, particularly LE12. Yes, Burncow owns that station, but there's minimal development. I would prefer for the road to be built west of the MRT, or alternatively that it will be either ground level or underground to prevent the road from being significantly higher than the terrain and blocking access from the MRT to the coast.
If the towns, I guess with the exception of Burncows, if the towns in that area like LE11 and LE13 are okay with the road on the east side, I'm not sure if that's. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is it should if this is the kind of road that they want, we shouldn't say no to that. I would think. And
Yeah, I would also note this is a.
Yeah.
I think that would be a legitimate concern if this was an A road proposal. This is not. It's a B.
The other thing is that I don't think building the road on the west side is super viable because LE11, whatever said LE11, is mostly developed on the east side already.
Is Minecraft 252 here? I'm just gonna. Oh, he is.
No,
Okay.
they're not.
Yes, he is.
Oh wait, oops.
I wonder if I can just quickly ask him if if he has a preference of where that road should be, like we just ask him right now. Unless he's listening here, I don't think he is.
Did I say LE11? I meant LE13's the one that's mostly developed on the east side, the town owned by Steven.
Yeah, Steven's the one who's proposing this. Yeah, 12. 12 doesn't have a whole lot going at it. I mean, it's
Pretty developed or anything.
yeah, 12 is barely SigDev. But I would let a SigDev claim stand. 13 has yeah, it's got a few things at it. But yeah, not really a whole lot of development across all three of them yet.
252 just said they're okay with this proposal, so I mean,
again, in that case, it's a B road. All the towns are fine with it, and it's short. So I believe that addresses all of what would be my concerns.
yeah. Okay. Any other comments?
Okay, this is using basically the same sidewalk design as in Boabek. Nice. That's fun.
Any other comments?
Okay.
Okay, I think it's approved.
Yeah, hearing none, then consider that approved. Okay, that's it for section 6. No events this time around, so 8A.
Wow.
I think 8A is well thought out and reasonable. I think HSRC as a whole might be big enough to where we might want to transfer it to someone at some point. But I think Kitty's proposals are reasonable, especially since he owns one of the towns that are involved.
I'm a little surprised it took this long to IAT this tunnel, it seems.
Yeah, considering in-trail.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think with HSRC, I don't know if they ever have any actual service other than just a few tunnels, right? But anyway, yeah, it's like if anyone has the best claim on this, it's going to be Kitty. So no issue with this. Or if he wanted to go for claiming other stuff from HSRC, I'd be fine with that, with incorporating that into one of the bigger rail companies. So, but I'm fine with this.
Okay, any other comments? Nope. Okay, stamp.
Nope, hearing
Stamp.
none, that's approved. Okay, stamp. 8B, Hut wants to make Tranquil Forest bigger with Oaksville. This is pretty straightforward.
I mean, I'm not in game, but like, it looks like 6 or 7 buildings on the Dine map.
You know what's funny is this is technically a dupe of a name from the old world.
That's fun.
There's a town called Oaksville on the old world.
Where is Oaksville in the old world? Not that it matters much.
1 or 2 stops northeast of Spawn on the yellow line.
Isn't that Oakville without an S?
All right, now I gotta go look. I think it's Oaksville Owasso is the station name, but I'll go look.
Anyway, any
It is Oaks with an S.
any objections to this proposal?
Nope.
No.
Okay, approved.
Stamp.
Oh, okay.
8C, unnamed town bypass and 4K waiver.
Seems reasonable.
I'm just still trying to understand what I'm looking at.
It's just unknown in terms of it has no name, right? There is an owner.
Well, it's not registered, but I think Fwiz. So it's multiple things. So if it was just a 4K by default or 4K by itself, then we wouldn't need it. But it is on the agenda because of the fact that there's ambiguity around ownership, and specifically the fact that so the unnamed town number 3 does have an owner, uh, and it's an inactive bypass.
Okay.
So kind of a 2-in-1, and that's super. This is pretty straightforward. Looks like a good direct route under the thing because the red is tunnel and yellow is above ground in the snowy area, so that all looks fine to me. Any other thoughts? Otherwise, I think this will be approved.
Yeah.
Okay. Stamp. 8D, Aardvark.
Reasonable.
Yeah, it's this little town by Sunshine Coast. Don't really mind. Or well, really,
Yeah.
it's closer to Torres River, but potato, potato.
Yeah, I'm fine with this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, approved. 8E.
See, Spring. What did you say, Frumple?
Just want to mention that Melissy has revoked their IAT for Spring Valley, so Elite's the only one looking at this, in case people didn't know.
Yeah, Melcy's just doing Monte Zola.
Oh, sorry, Skelly, what did you say?
No, I was basically going to say the same thing that you said.
Okay.
So, from what I'm saying, he wants it for sentimental reasons.
I mean, I fully respect and generally support, and I think in this case I will continue to support, that if people are offline, it is a good thing when their stuff is transferred to people who are active, even if they're not necessarily going to do a whole lot with it, specifically so that, I mean, Spring Valley is a pretty major connection point for a lot of different stuff. So I think it's good if there is someone who is active and willing to maintain it.
Yep.
Even if that doesn't mean a whole lot of active work.
It at least avoids
So.
other IATs from random people from trying to take it, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in this case, I think Elite has a very reasonable request. He's not planning on doing a whole lot with it. So in that case, I have no concerns with this.
Is there any reason to not accept this?
Don't think so.
I don't think so, especially because Elite has said that he specifically doesn't want to do a whole lot. If he'd said that he was gonna, because he does have a lot of towns, so it's like there are some people, and I don't know if Elite would be in this group, but there are, I would be concerned if there were people who are IATing stuff just to amass a giant blob of towns. That's not what's happening here. So
yeah, Elite says just to take out any doubt, like he's not going it for the airport gates.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. Even if he did, I don't know if that'd be enough to refuse it from him. Like, it's. I mean, the gates aren't being used for anything.
Yeah. So, in that case, I would say this is pretty straightforward. It's a IAT for preservation. Happy to prove.
Okay.
Okay, Monte Isola.
Should be fine.
Yeah, it's not like either player involved is really going to come back to the MRT, I think, at
Yeah.
least in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, yeah, and Monte Isola is another one where this is removing a lot of ambiguity because it'll provide a clear record of mayor. Technically, if it was well, yeah, because what should have happened is if Volpe gave it to Otto, Otto got banned, it would have then reverted to Volpe. Well, no, it would have just stayed in limbo. But regardless, Volpe could have DM succeeded and voluntarily transferred it. So as far as I'm concerned, this is pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, approved. Are we going to reject anything in this ISM? It's so boring. Approve, stamp.
Hey, you
well,
know
let's
what?
look at Lakeshore West.
Well, yeah, maybe this one.
Yeah, maybe this one. I mean, up until I will say, for everyone who submitted up until now, with the exception of that one map that Steven gave, I mean, all of this is exactly what we need to look stuff over, and the point is mostly just to give that kind of oversight and stamp. So
yeah, good job everyone who submitted. These are good proposals that you sent.
Yeah, these are. I appreciate it. It certainly makes my job of making a decision a hell of a lot easier. So, okay. So Lakeshore West, J Planner and Pretzel would like to extend the Lakeshore West line
to Las Playas.
To Las Playas. So this is going from the current terminal at Lakeshore West 36 and ending at Lakeshore West 49. So that's a net new of 13 stations.
So I guess, could we summarize what are the main issues that people have with this line?
Let's see. I'll read out Dinty's comment that he put in the staff chat. I don't think he'd have any objection to it. Do you guys have any objections?
So are you saying objection to reading his comment? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, objection to reading his comment since it was put in staff chat.
I think if he
It's
was
relevant,
here,
so.
if he was here, he'd probably say it here. So
yeah, and I'll say I'll read the comments and then I'll actually give my. Although I'm not saying that I agree with it. I've no major objections to anything except to point out that I don't think Pretzel's infrastructure building credentials quite go to the level of allowing him to build an MRT line. He cites that he worked on a rail line with Pretzel that was essentially a straight line with one corner, and he doesn't remember whether it was himself or Pretzel who built it. On this comment, I disagree. I think well, first of all, Pretzel's working with other people, which Dinty did actually point out. Second of all, I think the proposal's well thought out, and they've already built some good schematics to use for the MRT.
Yeah, these schematics, honestly, like the station, the ground level station, like that looks gorgeous.
And there's also concern about the line being so curvy, but I think they'll handle that.
I have another concern. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Chief.
I was gonna say, curve in the line itself. That I know that we like them to be reasonably straight, but curves in the line that hasn't stopped other extensions before. I mean, look at the eastern north extension that Mojang. You know, that one's all curvy all over the place. So.
Or my western north extension that's like curvy and then it's straight.
I think the curves make sense if you need to divert. Like in this one, it's going slightly to the right to Ardaman. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, the alignment I think is very reasonable, and that the alignment's not a concern to me.
My
Purple,
concern,
what were you gonna say?
so my concern with some of the previous, especially the southwestern extensions, was it feels like they've been made kind of in a bubble without really considering where other lines will go. So, given this line, uh, how does it interact with, say, the Arctic line that may get extended north, possibly, or maybe other lines that might go into this area? Like, what I'm trying to say is, before we just add extensions willy nilly, we need to think about the bigger picture. So, yeah, maybe just some discussion on that.
I mean, for this particular corridor, I think it is the most logical for Lakeshore to serve it. I think the Arctic line would probably be more fitting to head a little bit more south. It does kind of run into problems with the northern line, but I don't think it necessarily conflicts with anything. This is generally close to the natural direction that the Lakeshore is going to go, I think.
To make it a little bit clearer, I can't really draw it on the map, but I think my intention for the Arctic line was to go straight west, all the way almost to the world border, to that Arctic biome. Not this one that you see on the map, but the one south, and then it turns north into the Arctic biome west of Las Playas.
And it goes through that ice spikes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah. So, I mean,
I feel like this does leave plenty of room for that. There may be a fight between the Northern and Expo further south, because basically, when you're going south to north, it'll go Expo, Northern, Arctic, Lakeshore, and then Western and Taiga. We'll figure out what happens up there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
also,
I think.
go ahead.
Sorry. I think this is just more a limitation of the region's geography and how we built the MRT lines, and especially like the epsilon time frame. It's just kind of a limit of that because there's like a bunch of lakes and stuff like that.
This area is kind of hard. It's kind of it's a weird landmass. Vicky, you did mention, I think you showed me the Zeta line, the outer Zeta line.
Yeah. I haven't really worked on it recently,
but line Zeta.
I haven't worked on that particular proposal recently because I've been too busy IRL. But it would go like west, like it would go around. It would basically, like from what like Frumple was describing of the Arctic line between like the ice spikes and Las Playas.
Okay, I'm more there's the I don't think you this part, but if the outer Zeta line was supposed to, or some other line, because I think there was this plans for a Union line that goes across the north side of the map, like how that.
There's the Union line, the King's line, and the Queen's line that need to get figured out. If Kings and Queens, if those are even the names that we're going to use, but
yeah, so there probably
unless Quagmire comes back.
So what I'm trying to say is there's probably a potential for another east-west line coming in from the north in this picture, the northeast, and probably intersecting with the Lakeshore, maybe the Arctic line too. I don't know. I'm just trying to think ahead, so we don't, just draw our lines in a corner, basically.
Well, most likely, I could see that east-west line being the Zeta Circle line whenever it gets fully realized. And if that's the case, and there's also like a bunch of towns on the islands, like just north of like the Las Playas area.
Oh, for extension? Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
For extension, because there are several towns on those islands, as far as I'm aware, that could reasonably be served by an MRT line. There's also like the coral reefs, which could be an interesting scenic thing for the MRT line.
Okay. I was reading Pretzel's. His intention is just for now the Lakeshore line will terminate at Las Playas. It could get extended further to the Arctic, maybe to the west or north or something, but for now that's the way it's going to be. Okay, so overall, how are we feeling about this extension?
With Needham's supervision, I think it's fine. Once again, Needham's just by the necessity of how MRT lines are built, Needham is going to do like 90% of the actual like work on the ground to get it built. And I trust Needham with this project.
Cool. Any other comments?
I think going back to the earlier discussion of like Pretzel's credentials may not necessarily be all that good to qualify. I agree with Skelly. I don't. I think that I also want to make sure that we are not creating an impossibly high barrier to entry. And I agree that we should have a requirement that you should have some experience building some stuff, but I don't want to set this impossibly high standard where it becomes a chicken and egg problem and makes it really difficult for anybody to join in building an extension. I think that this is a good project and a good big project and an opportunity for Jay Planner and Pretzel and Needham to all be really collaborative and build stuff out. The schematics look great. So as far as I'm concerned, this checks all the boxes, and Las Playas is a big enough town that it makes sense to begin the process of connecting it into the rest of the system. So I'm good to approve in full, actually.
Pretzel says DNA is actually going to do most of it. So this will be the first
Oh,
line made by conductor. Well, conductors will be involved in some way.
Well,
Yeah,
this is also the
conductors will be
first-
involved.
this is also the first cycle that's possible for people to propose lines with conductor involvement. So, like, yes, they could have technically proposed lines at the July GSM for immediate stuff right after they got proposed, but conductors have only existed for 3 weeks.
I mean, if DNA does most of it, that'll be fine. Granted, Needham will still need to do quite a bit, especially with like World Guard and Dymat and whatnot. But I think it's good as is.
Yeah, and are also just supervising, make sure DNA and Pretzel don't, go off track or something. So
Yeah.
And to make sure that it gets.
Oh.
You know
Social.
what?
We did, in fact.
You're not in game, so I can't do that. Whatever. Okay. I think that is everything.
Wow, my Discord disconnected for a sec there, but okay.
Yeah, I think that's everything, because that's that's an approval then.
Okay, and now it's time to add stuff to the road stock. Yay.
Yay. Okay. Cool. So that is a full approval of everything. So there we go. Well done. And again, thank you everybody for excellent quality on the proposals, because that certainly makes stuff like this a lot easier, and we can spend more time, looking at the actual proposal and not the semantics of whatever's been submitted or things like that. So nice and efficient and good meeting. So thanks everybody. I guess if anyone has any questions or things that we want to talk about, I think we'll hang out in general voice. I'll hang out in general voice for a little bit.
Taco Burrito-thon is starting anyway, so I think people will.
I'm not
yeah,
playing
that's
Taco Burrito-thon. I'm expecting company in an hour and a half.
Anyway,
I'll be on general for a few minutes, but that's it.
Yeah, Anyway, I'll hang out in general for a little bit if anyone has questions or whatever. But otherwise, enjoy Taco Burrito-a-thon and have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.